Hello, aviators. Welcome back to another episode of the Pro-Pilot Playbook podcast. We got a great show for you here today. This is probably one of the biggest questions that get asked all the time. A little intro here. I'm Sean. I'm a professional corporate pilot. Been doing this now for about 25 years. And I'm joined with Mike here.
Yeah, I'm Mike Martin, a corporate pilot based in Cincinnati, about 25 years experience also. And, what prompted this is I have a friend who's a loan officer, mortgage broker, and we were in a conversation, and he's like, I told him I was a pilot, and he's like, I've done loans for several pilots, and God, it's so confusing how you guys get paid. I don't even know how you figured it out. I'm in the business. I can't even figure it out. So it is a little bit confusing how pilots get paid. And, here at the Pro-Pilot Playbook, our mission is to get people interested in aviation, to want to be pilots, to know how to do it and have all the information they can. And you may have Googled an airline pay scale, and you look at these numbers, and they're like hourly, and it's right. How many guaranteed hours, and you're like, it doesn't make any sense. Either you could look at it and say, either this guy's making $500 a week or $7 million a year. I don't know how to calculate this. So you're in luck. This podcast is hopefully going to unravel that for you. We have Sean here, who was an airline pilot. I'm a corporate pilot. And at the end, I'll talk a little bit about how corporate pilots get paid, which is much more straightforward. But Sean, first let's talk about airline pilots, how they get paid, how much money they make. Talk about this hourly pay. It's not like a 40-hour work week and you make an hourly pay like someone else does, but you do get paid by the hour, right?
Right. So if you pull up a pay scale for an airline, and if you're watching this on YouTube right now, we're putting one on the screen for you, but you see everything. This is all per hour. These are dollar amounts per hour. And on the one side, you have your seniority. Everything at the airline is based on seniority.
Right.
Okay, and then across the top, you'll typically see the equipment or the aircraft that you're in. So you get paid different versus how many years you've been there and what equipment you're on. And then the two big differences, there's actually two scales here. The top one is captain, the guy in charge of the ship. And, of course, he makes more. And then the first officer chart typically gets paid half of what a captain makes. Okay? So the numbers we're looking at here are per hour. But no matter how much you fly, whether you only fly the 1 day a month or 5 days a week, you get paid a minimum number of hours. So this particular pay scale we're looking at is a 65-hour minimum that you get paid. So no matter what, even if you don't fly at all, you're going to get paid that number times 65 hours.
Nice. That's not bad. Yeah, a rough gouge, and that's good that you explained it that way with the minimum and stuff. A rough gouge, like if you just want to glance at it and know what, because there's additional ways that airline pilots get paid for overtime and things like that we'll talk about in a second. But the way I always quick calculate is you look at that hourly pay and then you multiply it by 1,000 hours because it's less than that, the guarantee, but just it's a rough math and that'll give you. So if looking here at Delta Airlines, a year 12 Boeing 767 400 ER captain makes $334 a year. An hour. That would be roughly $334,000 a year. And talk a little bit about the overtime and how that works.
So every airline does this a little different, but there are all kinds of nooks and crannies of extra income coming in. There's per diem. Per diem, you get, let's see if Delta lists it here. Yeah, it's probably $2 or $3 an hour. Here we go. International override. No, that's per diem. I thought it was like $3 or $4 an hour. So as soon as you go on duty, you're getting that. And that's to take care of things like any food you buy or something like that. They pay for all your hotels and everything, but that's just extra spending money for you. There's also, and I'm not sure.
And that's tax-free too, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yes. The other thing, and I'm not sure exactly how Delta does this, the airline I was at, there's all kinds of bonuses built in. There's an on-time bonus. So if you flew a flight that was scheduled to take 2 hours and you bring the aircraft into the gate at an hour and 50 minutes, 10 minutes, you get paid those 10 minutes at double time. So it's an incentive to make sure all your flights are on time. And then, of course, there's overtime. So If you go past your 65 hours for the month, now you're getting paid double time or time and a half, whatever the airline does, for anything past those 65 hours.
Okay.
There's also international override pay. Anytime you take the airplane out of the country, you're making more money. There's also other little tricks you can do, such as if you were on a reserve line or on a line that had you off on a certain day, but you went in and flew that day anyway.
When you were supposed to be off.
When you were supposed to be off, now you could be making double time.
Because they were short, like it's spring break or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Around the holidays.
Yeah, so there's loopholes to play. If you're a guy that wants to get out there and fly, there are ways to make even more money than the minimum guarantee. These are
Way
just
more,
minimum. These are minimum numbers.
I got a question. So you got your first officer pay per year of seniority, then your captain year of seniority. So if you're a first officer and you've been there for 4 years, then you upgrade to captain. Do you get the fourth year captain pay, or do you go back to the first year captain pay? How's that work?
No, this is so you would get the 4-year captain pay.
Okay,
so this is
gotcha.
a straight seniority number.
So no one would actually get first year captain pay, probably, because
Not unless they were hiring captains off the street,
And
which
that's
which
really
would be a huge red flag for any company to be doing that. Although there are regionals that are in that situation right now. That's why this pilot market is so awesome right now. They need pilots so bad.
yeah.
Now, they're not just hiring anybody off the street to be a captain. Typically, that's somebody that came from another airline that was fed up with them or whatever reason decided to change jobs. They were already flying that same exact type at another airline,
Right.
and then moved over. But when they build out those pay scales, they always start at year one. But
Gotcha.
nobody typically upgrades at that time.
I gotcha.
So if you upgrade 10 years into being a first officer, you're going to flow right into that 10-year mark at the captain.
Gotcha. And then here's Envoy Airlines pay scale. This is what we call a commuter airline, or the smaller airlines that feed
The regional,
majors.
yeah.
Something you might start at kind of as your first job. And it looks like their hourly pay,
Yeah, first year, first officer, $50 an hour. And this is on a 72-hour,
Guarantee.
72-hour guarantee. So 50 times 72, that's what you make per month. And then take that number times 12, and that's what you'd be making per year as a base salary if you didn't fly any overtime, not counting your per diem, and not counting your bonuses. I believe
they have a signing bonus.
Envoy,
Huge one,
Envoy is one of the companies doing the sign-on bonus. I think it's
it's a lot, $50,000 or something, wasn't it? Or something.
was it 50 or 5?
5 was American Eagle, but I know at one point it was like super big number. But yeah,
It's-
check that. These regional airlines are trying to recruit, and they're trying to track pilots in any way they can.
They're
New pilots.
throwing cash out pretty hard
Pretty
right
easy,
now.
yeah. So you can make a nice living. I mean, did we say what the captains make here? What
Oh,
was
the
it?
captain.
It was $106 an hour. You could make after you've been there 10 years or so.
Yep.
So this you can do well at these places if you want.
Yeah, in this environment though, you probably would not be at that airline for 10 years though.
No.
You'd be moving on to the majors pretty quick.
Yeah, making the big money. But so corporate pilots, they get paid basically similar to just regular salary people at a company. You usually negotiate a set salary. That pay is all going up. There's a guidelines for that. The MBAA, it's the National Business Aircraft Association, puts out an annual salary survey that helps people and companies gauge what they pay their pilots. But a lot of it is based on the type of airplane you fly and the size of the company that you fly for. Smaller jets pay less money. Bigger jets pay more money. Typically, those guys are going to overseas, so they do make a little bit more money. But
It's a little more complicated of a job.
Yeah. And some of the entry-level charter jobs pay a little bit less. But all that stuff's coming up. I mean, it's hard, it's very common to be in the six-figure range as a corporate pilot.
Yep.
And you could probably attain six figures faster as a corporate pilot than an airline pilot.
I would say, by and large, absolutely.
Yeah. But then towards the end of your career, you're going to make a lot more money as an airline pilot.
Absolutely. That's a good way to state it.
Right. But those numbers are going up every year for all of these. Yeah, so typically corporate pilots get paid per category of airplane, and there's really just 3 categories: light jets, medium jets, and full-size or large cabin. And basically, a light jet is your smaller Lears and Citations and things like that that can only fly, a couple hours and handle maybe 6 people. And then your midsize they can do some transcontinental stuff. It'd be like Lear 60s and Challengers and Citation Latitudes, larger ones. And then you have the large cabins, which are like Gulfstreams, Challenger 604s, those type airplanes that can go international. And the pay in general is higher when you get into those larger cabins because you're out like that.
Sure. More complicated job, leaving the country.
Right. Now there is per diem sometimes for corporate pilots, which he mentioned is the airlines. You get paid per hour while you're away. You get roughly $50-$70 a day, and then you pay for your own food, your hotel and rental car, and all that's all taken care of. But you just go and you eat, and it can be a good deal because a lot of these hotels offer free breakfast, and you might be kind of a light eater, and you may pocket some money, on these trips.
Yep.
But a lot of corporate operations, you just charge your food and all that, and you don't get any per diem.
They'd either give you a credit card,
right,
or you just use your own money and turn in an expense report at the end, and they'll reimburse you.
Right. So you get the base salary. Now, the number you don't see, similar like an airline pilot, is there is overtime opportunities for sure for corporate pilots, but not in the manner that you would think. You don't get overtime per se from your company, but basically what happens is these corporate airplanes you have to have a certain type of pilot, a type rating to fly each one of these airplanes. Mm-hmm. So you have to be specific training on that aircraft. So a lot of these operators will run the airplane with just a couple pilots. If one of those pilots needs a day off, they need to find another pilot from another company that's current in that airplane to fly for them, and they'll pay you a lot of money per day to do that. It's called a contract pilot.
Right, contract. And this is something that happens all day long, everywhere across the country. It's a major part of what I do. My day-to-day as a pilot is contract work.
Right.
It varies on what size aircraft it is, what the mission is. I'll just go ahead and tell you my typical rate in the light jet, this is a small jet that I fly, is anywhere from $750 to $1,200 a day. Is what I charge. And it depends. If I got somebody calling me up last minute trying to take an airplane to Mexico, and that's going to be a trip that's going to cause me a lot of work.
Mexico meaning Cabo San Lucas, or meaning
Mexico City.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of preparation in there, or maybe they're trying to go to Costa Rica last minute and whatever. So I'm going to charge $1,200 a day for
and
that.
The key
that
to
kind
this
of trip.
is Sean picks the rate, so they're asking you, "Hey, can you help us out?"
Right.
And sometimes you're the only guy that's available too. And if it's something you don't really want to do, you got something going on, you could tell them a higher number.
Yep, higher the number.
But this can be extremely lucrative. I mean, you start making upwards of $1,000 a day. And you don't just get paid the day you're flying. It's the days that you're gone.
Perfect example. I just got a call, a guy wanting to go to Vegas, which I'm looking forward to on Monday, going to Vegas from Monday through Wednesday, leaving Monday morning through Wednesday. And I'm charging him $800 a day. On Tuesday, I'm not even doing anything but hitting casinos, but I'm still getting that $800 for the day.
Plus, they're paying for your room at the casino.
They're paying for a nice room at the MGM Grand. I will make sure of that. They'll be paying for steak dinners.
Nice.
And I don't need a rental car in Vegas, but they'll be paying for all my Lyft rides all around town, and any tips that I give to line service or any Uber drivers or anything like that. All that goes into my expense report, and it's all reimbursed, plus my $800 a day for the 3 days I'm doing something I love to do anyway that equates to a few hours out of my day.
Right. Think about it. The flying is some people just pay to fly on the weekends for fun.
Right.
We get to do it for a living. So, I hope this finds you guys well. What we're trying to do here is kind of shed some light on how pilots get paid, and of course, encourage you guys to get into our business. We're not bragging up here. We're trying to get the word out about what this career is really like, because we believe the general public doesn't really know a whole lot about it. They don't know about the pilot shortage, and they don't know what these jobs are like. And I think if if more people did, more people would be interested in doing it. So hopefully this finds you well. And if you know someone that's interested in flying, please share this and also drop your comments. We love comments. We'll read them
absolutely.
live, too.
Yes. Yeah. Email us at podcast@propilotplaybook.com and we'll answer your question on the podcast.
Yep. Thanks.